Good morning, students. Today's class is on purine synthesis. Nucleic acids are made up of nitrogenous bases. The two types of nitrogenous bases are purines and pyrimidines. Uracil, thymine, and cytosine are the common pyrimidines. Adenine and guanine are the common purines. To understand the synthesis of purines, knowing the structure of purine is very essential. Purine consists of two rings, two carbon nitrogen rings with four nitrogen atoms. There are totally 9 atoms in a purine ring. Now, how do they are numbered? The first ring of the purine is numbered in the anti-clockwise direction, whereas the second ring or the imidazole ring is numbered in the clockwise direction. So, to a purine ring, at the sixth position, if an amino group is added, then it is called adenine. So, adenine is 6 amino purine. Whereas, if an amino group is attached at the second position, an oxo group at the sixth position, guanine is formed. So, guanine is 2 amino 6 oxo purine. Adenine and guanine are the two most common types of purines found in nucleic acids. Now, how these purines are synthesized? Humans cannot synthesize free purines. Purines are always synthesized as purine nucleotides. What is a purine nucleotide? Purines, when they get attached to ribose 5-phosphate, they form a purine nucleotide. Now, the N9 of purine is attached to the first carbon of the ribose 5-phosphate by a beta N glycosidic bond to form a purine nucleotide. So, the two types of purine nucleotides are adenosine monophosphate and guanosine monophosphate. How these purine nucleotides are synthesized? So, the purine is built upon a ribose 5-phosphate to form a purine nucleotide. There are two ways by which purine nucleotides can be synthesized. One is de novo synthesis and other is salvage pathway. What is the difference between these two pathways? In de novo synthesis, a purine ring is newly synthesized. Each and every atom of the purine ring is newly synthesized from a donor compound. Whereas salvage pathway is a recycling pathway where breakdown of purine nucleotides will provide free purines and those purines are utilized to form a new purine nucleotide. So, synthesis of purine nucleotides is by de novo synthesis and by salvage pathway. De novo synthesis occurs primarily in the liver. The peripheral tissues make use of salvage pathway for purine synthesis. So, these pathways occurs in the cytoplasm. In de novo synthesis, the first apparent purine nucleotide is formed, which is inosine monophosphate, and from this inosine monophosphate, adenosine monophosphate and guanosine monophosphate are synthesized by two separate pathways. Okay, so which is the purine parent nucleotide? It is inosine monophosphate. In de novo synthesis, inosine monophosphate is first formed, and which is then utilized for the formation of adenosine monophosphate and guanosine monophosphate by two different pathways. So, this picture shows you the synthesis of purines in a nutshell. So, as I said earlier, to understand purine synthesis, you must know the structure of purine. Purine consists of two rings, the first ring and the second ring. First ring is numbered in the anti-clockwise direction. So, N1, C2, N3, C4, N5 and C6. Whereas the second ring or the imidazole ring is numbered in the first ring is numbered in the anti-clockwise direction, whereas the second ring is numbered in the clockwise direction. Yeah, the second ring, it is N7, C8, N9. So, the second ring is numbered in the clockwise direction. The first ring is numbered in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, So you have two rings, the first ring and the second ring. First ring is numbered in the anti-clockwise direction and second ring is numbered in the clockwise direction. And out of these two rings, the first formed ring is the second ring or the imidazole ring. So in the second ring, the first formed atom is N9. This is because purine is built upon ribose 5-phosphate to form a purine nucleotide, and N9 is the atom that is attached to ribose 5-phosphate by beta N glycosidic bond. Therefore, the first formed atom in a purine ring is N9. Okay. So the first synthesized atom is N9 and the first formed ring is this imidazole ring. So the imidazole ring, the direction of purine synthesis happens in the clockwise directions. Since the numbering of this imidazole ring is in the clockwise direction, the synthesis of the imidazole ring also happens in the clockwise direction. So what is the next atom that is synthesized? It is C4, then C5, then N7 and finally C8. So once the atoms of the imidazole ring is synthesized, next the atom of purine, the first ring is synthesized, which is in the first ring, the first formed atom is N3. Here in the first ring, the synthesis happens in the anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, the next atom that is formed is C6, then N1, then C2 and finally closure of the first ring. Okay, so there are 9 atoms in a purine ring and there are 9 steps in purine synthesis. The imidazole ring is synthesized first starting from N9, which is attached to ribose 5-phosphate, followed by C4, C5, N7 and C8. And next, the pyrimidine ring is, the first ring is synthesized. It starts from N3 and the synthesis happens in the anti-clockwise direction. So next it is C6, N1 and C2. Finally, the ring closure. Okay. So what are the steps in purine synthesis? The first step is, and in step 2, to the N9, C4, C5 and N7 is added from glycine. And in step 3, C8 is added from one carbon group such as N5N10 methynyl tetrahydrofolic acid. So in step 4, N3 is formed from the amino nitrogen of glutamine. In step 5, the ring closure of the imidazole ring happens. And in step 6, carbon is added to C5 from carbon dioxide. And in step 7, nitrogen atom is added from aspartic acid. And in step 8, carbon is added from the one carbon group which is N10 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid. And in step 9, the closure of the first ring happens. Okay. So now you now have an idea about how purine ring is synthesized, in which direction, and what are the donors of the purine ring. So what are the donors who donate the atoms of purine ring? It is 3 amino acids, which is glutamine, glycine and aspartate, and 2 one carbon groups, that is N10 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid and N5N10 methynyl tetrahydrofolic acid, and a carbon dioxide. So these are the donor compounds for the synthesis of purine atoms. Now going into the details of purine synthesis. So the first step in the synthesis of a purine nucleotide is activation of ribose 5-phosphate. This is by the enzyme PRPP synthetase, which will convert ribose 5-phosphate into phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate. So 2 phosphate molecules are removed from ATP and added to the first carbon of ribose 5-phosphate to form phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate. So this PRPP or phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate is the activated form of ribose 5-phosphate which takes place in the synthesis of a purine nucleotide. Okay, so this PRPP synthetase is activated or it is the activity is increased by the presence of phosphate and it is inhibited by feedback inhibition. So the final products such as purine nucleotides inhibits PRPP synthetase. So this step is the preparatory step for purine nucleotide synthesis. This step is common for both de novo synthesis of purines and for salvage pathway. Therefore, this step plays a crucial role in the synthesis of purine nucleotides. So, moving on to this step plays a crucial role in the synthesis of purine nucleotides. So, moving on to the actual steps of de novo synthesis of purines. So, PRPP which is formed or the activated ribose 5-phosphate which is formed is converted into phosphoribosyl amine. So, an amino group of the glutamine, the amino nitrogen of glutamine is transferred to PRPP to form phosphoribosyl amine by the enzyme PRPP glutamyl amidotransferase. This is the rate limiting enzyme of de novo synthesis of purines and this is the first step of de novo synthesis of purines. So then by subsequent reactions, the purine parent nucleotide which is inosine monophosphate is formed. The conversion of phosphoribosyl amine to inosine monophosphate requires 4 molecules of ATP. Now, as I said, this is the first step of de novo synthesis of purines. You have the activated ribose 5-phosphate which is PRPP. To this PRPP, at carbon 1, the 2 phosphate groups are removed and the amino group of glutamine is added there to form phosphoribosyl amine. Okay, so this is the first step of de novo synthesis of purines. This is by the enzyme PRPP glutamyl amidotransferase. This is the rate limiting step of de novo synthesis of purines. Our next step, so what is the next carbon that is added? It is next atom that is added, it is C4, C5 and so it is C4, C5 and N7 which is contributed by glycine. Yeah. So to this amino group C4, C5 and N7 is added from glycine. Now the compound formed is glycinamide ribonucleotide. So this requires hydrolysis of ATP. So to phosphoribosyl amine at the amino group glycine is added to form glycinamide ribonucleotide and this requires the hydrolysis of ATP. This is by the enzyme GAR synthetase. This is the second step of purine synthesis. What is the next step? So after the addition of N7, what is added is C8. So this is donated by the 1 carbon group N5N10 methynyl tetrahydrofolic acid. So a carbon, the NH2 here is formulated by N5N10 methynyl tetrahydrofolic acid. It is formulated by N5N10 methynyl tetrahydrofolic acid to form formyl glycinamide ribonucleotide. So what we have is glycinamide ribonucleotide which is formulated to form formyl glycinamide ribonucleotide by the enzyme formylase. So this is the third step of purine synthesis. Moving to the next step, so all the now N9 is formed, C4, C5, N7 is formed and C8 is formed. So all the atoms of the imidazole ring of purines are formed. Next is formation of N3 of the first ring. So The donor is glutamine. So the amino group of glutamine is added to C4 to form formyl glycinamide ribonucleotide. So initially we had formyl glycinamide ribonucleotide. To the addition of amino group, it becomes formyl glycinamide ribonucleotide. What's the next step? Next is the closure of the imidazole ring, and this is by the enzyme cyclohydrolase. So FGAM or formyl glycinamide ribonucleotide is converted into amino imidazole ribonucleotide, and this step 2 requires hydrolysis of ATP. To amino imidazole ribonucleotide, carbon is added, carboxylation happens. So carbon is added to form C6 of the purine ring. So air becomes carboxy air, or amino imidazole ribonucleotide is converted into carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide. Okay. So next step is the synthesis of N1 of the purine ring. It is from the amino acid aspartate. So the amido nitrogen of aspartate is added to carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide to form amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide. So this addition happens in two steps, where the aspartic acid is added first, and leaving behind the amino group, the rest of the aspartic acid is removed as fumaric acid. So two enzymes are involved. One is sycar synthetase and other is adenylosuccinase. So the net result is that carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide is converted into amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide. Okay. What is the next step? After addition of N1, now C2 is added. This carbon is from the one carbon group, which is N10 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid. So carbon is added from N10 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid to form C2 of the purine ring. The product formed is inosine monophosphate. Okay. So hydrolase, and finally the compound formed is inosine monophosphate. Now what we have is the parent purine nucleotide, which is inosine monophosphate. Okay. So let's have a quick revision. The first step is activation of the preparatory step is activation of ribose 5-phosphate to form PRPP, or phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate. In the first step of de novo synthesis, to this PRPP, an amino nitrogen is added from glutamine to form phosphoribosylamine. In the second step, glycine is added to phosphoribosylamine to form glycinamide ribonucleotide. So C4, C5 and N7 is formed. And in the third step, N10 carbon is added from N10 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid to form carboxylated. In the sixth step, the product formed is carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide. Carboxylated. In the sixth step, the product formed is carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide. On addition of aspartic acid, an amino nitrogen from the aspartic acid is added to C6 to form amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide, which is formulated to form formyl amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide. And the closure of second ring happens, and finally the parent purine nucleotide, which is inosine monophosphate, is formed. Okay. So this requires hydrolysis of 4 ATP, one during the addition of glycine, the second one during the addition of glutamine, the third one during the closure of the imidazole ring, and the fourth one during the addition of aspartic acid. Okay. Now you know how IMP or inosine monophosphate, the parent purine nucleotide, is formed, from which adenosine monophosphate and guanosine monophosphate is formed. So the difference between IMP and AMP is that amino group is attached at the C6. Okay. So amino group is donated by aspartic acid, Aspartic acid is initially added to C6 by adenylosuccinate synthase, then leaving behind the amino nitrogen, the rest of the aspartic acid is removed as fumarate by the enzyme adenylosuccinase to form adenosine monophosphate. And this reaction requires hydrolysis of GTP and cofactors such as magnesium. So this inosine monophosphate is 2. So this inosine monophosphate is oxidized at C2 to form xanthosine monophosphate by the enzyme IMP dehydrogenase, during which NAD is reduced to NADH2. Now to this xanthosine monophosphate, an amino nitrogen is added at C2. The donor of this amino nitrogen is glutamine. This step requires hydrolysis of ATP. So when amino nitrogen is added at C2, the product formed is guanosine monophosphate. Okay. So initially the parent purine nucleotide inosine monophosphate is formed, from which adenosine monophosphate is formed by adding an amino nitrogen at C6, and from inosine monophosphate guanosine monophosphate is formed by oxidizing it and adding an amino nitrogen at C2. So the conversion of IMP to AMP requires hydrolysis of GTP, while the conversion of IMP to GMP requires the hydrolysis of ATP. So this makes the production of AMP and GMP in sufficient, both AMP and GMP in sufficient quantities. Okay. Now how this pathway is regulated? It is regulated by feedback inhibition. Okay. The products formed are adenosine monophosphate or ADP on ATP, or guanosine monophosphate GDP and GTP. So they have a feedback inhibition at 3 sites. One is the first step, or this makes the production of AMP and GMP in sufficient, both AMP and GMP in sufficient quantities. Okay. Now how this pathway is regulated? It is regulated by feedback inhibition. Okay. The products formed are adenosine monophosphate or ADP on ATP, or guanosine monophosphate GDP and GTP. So they have a feedback inhibition at 3 sites. One is the first step, or the preparatory step, which is the conversion or activation of ribose 5-phosphate to PRPP. The conversion of ribose 5-phosphate to PRPP by the enzyme PRPP synthetase. So that enzyme is inhibited by the end products. And the next site of regulation is conversion of PRPP to 5-phosphoribosylamine by the enzyme PRPP glutamyl amidotransferase. So this is the rate limiting enzyme of de novo synthesis, and this enzyme is inhibited by the end products, which is adenosine monophosphate or adenosine diphosphate, and guanosine monophosphate and guanosine diphosphate. Now the next site of regulation is conversion of IMP to AMP and conversion of IMP to GMP. So this pathway is inhibited by the conversion of IMP to AMP is inhibited by AMP, and the conversion of IMP to GMP is inhibited by GMP. Now we know the synthesis of purines by de novo synthesis. Next, what is the other pathway by which purines can be synthesized? It is salvage pathway. Salvage pathway is a recycling pathway where purines nucleotides gets broken down to form free purines, and these free purines are utilized for the synthesis of new purine nucleotides. Yeah? So salvage pathway primarily occurs in all peripheral tissues, and particularly in tissues where they cannot make use of de novo synthesis, for example brain and leukocytes. So salvage pathway happens either by phosphoribosylation of a free purine base or phosphorylation of a purine nucleoside. So when to adenine and guanine, when phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate is added by adenosine phosphoribosyl transferase. So when by adenosine phosphoribosyl transferase or guanosine phosphoribosyl transferase. Or salvage pathway is also operated by the conversion of a purine nucleoside into a purine nucleotide by phosphorylation. So adenosine is phosphorylated to form adenosine monophosphate, or guanosine is phosphorylated by guanosine kinase to form guanosine monophosphate. Okay, so the enzymes in salvage pathway are adenine phosphoribosyl transferase, APRT enzyme. So that will convert adenine to AMP, and GPRT or HPRT, it is a common enzyme that will convert guanine into GMP and hypoxanthine into IMP. Okay. Purine analogues. Purine analogues are the competitive inhibitors of purines. They during a DNA synthesis, this purine analogues gets incorporated into the DNA. Therefore, inactive DNA is formed, which causes cell cycle arrest, and this mechanism is used for the synthesis of chemotherapy agents. Thioguanine and asaguanine are the two purine analogues which are used as anti-cancer drugs. Inhibitors of purine synthesis. These are the substances that will inhibit purine synthesis. For example, mercaptopurine, methotrexate and azathioprine. Mercaptopurine will inhibit the conversion of IMP to AMP and GMP, whereas methotrexate will inhibit the reactions that involve one carbon group, such as N10 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid and N5N10 methynyl tetrahydrofolic acid. Azathioprine will inhibit the reactions which involve glutamine, which is the formation of N1, N3 and N9 of a purine ring. Okay, that is inhibited by azathioprine. So the take home message is that purines have two carbon nitrogen rings. The first ring and the second ring, or the imidazole ring. Imidazole ring is the first formed ring, and N9 of purine is the first formed atom during purine synthesis. Since N9 is attached to ribose biphosphate, only purine nucleotides can be synthesized. Free purines cannot be synthesized by humans. So N9 is the first atom formed in a purine synthesis. So the imidazole ring is formed first in the clockwise direction, followed by the first ring in the anti-clockwise direction. So the donors of purine synthesis in de novo synthesis, there are two ways by which purine can be synthesized. One is de novo synthesis and other is salvage pathway. The donors in de novo synthesis, purine ring is entirely newly synthesized. Each and every atom of the purine ring is newly synthesized from a donor compound. In salvage pathway, recycling of purine nucleotides happen. So in de novo synthesis, the donors of purine atoms are glutamine, glycine, aspartate, carbon dioxide, and two one carbon groups, which is N10 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid and N5N10 methynyl tetrahydrofolic acid. So in salvage pathway happens either by phosphorylation of a purine nucleoside or phosphoribosylation of a purine, free purine. So the enzymes are HGPRTase, hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase, or adenosine APRTase, adenosine phosphoribosyl transferase. Okay, so purine analogues are the substances which will inhibit cell cycle and therefore used as anti-cancer drugs. There are inhibitors of purine synthesis, for example, methotrexate, azathioprine and mercaptopurine. Thank you.